Hello, Lorne. How you doing, buddy? We are here, and the big news is Cole Caulfield gets sent down to the minors. They did the same thing to Kokiniemi, actually. Played him up, played him up, played him up. Things got struggling a little bit and sent him down. 8-0, yeah. That was why did they have to make it so difficult? Tell me that. Why did they have to make that so difficult? That was scary, buddy. Like, my unfortunately the little lady had me out that night, so I wasn't able to watch the game. But I heard it on It looked like to me that the plan. I should have known Brindamore would do this. He just wants to make sure puck management. It's the only way you're going to lose against Arizona. Carolina against Arizona. Mercer, how you doing, buddy? They made like Arizona is an easy out, and it looked like what he did was he wanted to make sure he won. So they were being very careful puck management wise, and I guess a lot of teams are doing that. Yeah, I know Arizona's goalie played well, but honestly, if I don't agree with what, yeah, Vimelka, yeah, I don't agree with what a lot of teams are doing here, where they're just playing very cautious and making, it's like, yeah, they played very cautious, though in the beginning they played very cautious. I think a team like Carolina should outshoot them like 50-12, something like that. Yeah, Vimelka is definitely doing better than Hutton. He's learning fast on the fly, uh, because he's had to struggle with. He's had to, get used to the North American rink and all that, and it seems like it's starting to happen for him. They did outshoot him. I think they could. I think they could have outplayed them more than they did. But I think they were just being very cautious, because really the only way you're going to lose against Arizona is poor puck management. You cough up the puck and they happen to score. Don't take penalties. That's another way that they'll do it. You don't want any fluky goals going in. So they're just being good puck management. I don't know. If it's me, I'm just like run and gun with them. You're going to destroy them. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't need too many shots to get. Well, let's look at that game. Let's bring that game up. Like I said, I didn't see it, the game itself. I heard it on the radio. Was that Sunday? Yeah. Yeah, 39-23. It's not bad. And yeah, Velmelka did play, obviously, played really well. Thirty-nine to 23. That's a lot of shots, though, for the Coyotes. They are getting better as they continue. They work hard. That's the only way they're going to beat you is they work hard. Yeah, they don't have shooters, and that's why I would run and gun with them. I would run and gun with them and just keep on because they can't. They're not going to outscore you. I guess they could get some fluky ones or something like that. I don't know. Two different ways of looking at it. If you go, if you play, not passive isn't the right word, but cautiously, I think they can, you make it so there's less chance that they get that one goal. But then again, even if you play cautiously, they can still fluke a goal, and which is kind of what they did. $8.67 and $5, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've been getting better every game, though. Hey, go Caps! Woo! Right on. Thanks for coming in, man. Sweet. Yeah, they could, especially if they really tank as they go here. Because, come the trade deadline, Kessel wants out, and he'll probably get traded. Although, did you really notice him? I don't think it hurts Chikrin's value. I don't think they're going to trade Chikrin. Unless he flat out comes out and says, I want out. Unless he flat out comes out and says he wants out, I don't see him getting traded. It won't hurt his value. Everybody in the league knows the team he plays for and how good of a defenseman he is. The guy's a stud. He on any other team, he'd be vying for a Norris Trophy almost every year. So if he decides to say, hey, you know what, I don't want my career going this way, I want out, then I suppose that would suck for them. But the package they would get back would be enormous. Like if you were going to trade Chikrin, for instance, let's say Carolina, since we're talking about it, I mean, you could get back a lot from Jarvis would definitely be part of the package. That's the first thing they would be thinking of is Jarvis. And then a center. It would have to be a package that wouldn't take too much out of their lineup. So they'd want to trade prospects and stuff like that if they could. I don't even know if Carolina would be able to do it without taking stuff off their lineup. No, I don't see him coming the second coming of OEL. He's got a different game. OEL was completely reliant on his puck movement and the way he got pucks through to the net. He's one of the best guys at that. He's still great at it. And I think OEL's lost his confidence, and going to Vancouver wasn't going to help that too much because their defense is terrible there. From what I've watched of him, he's played all right, but he has no help, and that's the problem. He just doesn't have any help in Vancouver. So he goes from one team that Hamilton, by the way, his shots, I don't know what it's called. If I had Peyton on, he'd be able to tell me, but his shots for and against ratio, I guess that's what it is, was when he was on the ice, there was like 27 shots for and 8 shots against. He's playing lights out in New Jersey right now. His analytics are crazy. His analytics are amazing. And his analytics were always good. But yeah, he's playing fantastic defensively now too for them as well. He's all over the place. Like, talk about a guy that might have a Norris in his future. He'll be in the conversation again this year, I bet. As long as, well, now Fox broke that rule that you had to make the playoffs to get a Norris. So, and you never know. Like, you see New Jersey with Bernier in, beating Pittsburgh there. They're a totally different team. But if they've got Wedgwood or Daw, they're not going anywhere. They need to get Blackwood and Bernier back. They got to at least have Bernier, because Wedgwood obviously ain't going to do it. What do you think Arizona does with their goaltending in the future? Well, yeah, I think they're going to play that by ear. They're really tanking. And so when did they decide to have a good goaltender in there? It's hard to say. I know if I'm Coach Turney, I'm going, like, I know we're building here, but it's hard to build a system if you don't have goaltending that is satisfactory. But Vejmelka looks like he might be showing that he can be a goaltender that does that. So we'll see what he does as he goes along here. As far as consistency is concerned, any goaltender can have, one or two good nights. Even Wedgwood. Yeah, Bjornford's playing well. Isn't he only like 20 years old too? Yeah, he's still got a long way to go. Like, he looks like he's going to be a very good goaltender. Yeah, well, yeah, there's going to be some change now. Like, I agree with you, Lauren, for sure. There's some teams that have been feeling out their new players and stuff like that. Like the New York Rangers are struggling. I watched the New York Rangers versus Seattle there, and they're struggling with that new lineup and the new coach and all that stuff like that and their transition. I don't know how long it's going to take them to get out of it. Cam Atkinson has 7 goals. He's got his mojo back now that he's out of Columbus. He always had that. And then again, I talk about Tortorella as I'm a fan of him, but now the more I see it, the more you really got to find the right players for him like that. That's why people saying him going to Florida, I don't know. If he's got to change it up a bit. If he's going to try to turn that team into keep the man in front of you constantly all the time type team, like they did in Columbus, and slow down the play and all that, he'll ruin them. It wouldn't be good. I think he wouldn't do that, though. I think he had to do that in Columbus because of the manpower he had. And unfortunately, it hurt guys like Atkinson and Jones. Well, that's interesting because we got Tampa Bay and Washington coming up tonight about Ovechkin. And it seems to me that they're trying too hard to get him to score. It seems to me that they're just trying no heart for heart. Goaltending wise, we'll see what he does in the future. He's looking really good so far. Like, it's everybody has a sigh of relief right now for Carter Hart because, with the struggles last year, to see him playing, pretty well. And Jones, wow. Yeah, they got a tough one tonight. Or is it tonight? Or is it tomorrow? Oh, they got to play Arizona tomorrow. That's what it is. And it's their first game back off that Western road trip. If there was a game that Arizona might be able to pull off, that one might be it. You got Philadelphia coming from the Western road trip. So they played hard All of those games, even the one against Calgary. And I don't know, there's an energy that, and then there's a sort of a letdown, not in a like, oh, like, oh, darn way, but in a, calm down, we're home now, you see your family, and you like, there's a relax that, and then you got to build that energy up for the next game, try to recreate the energy you had. And it usually takes a little bit for that to happen. So Arizona, just if they play like they did against Carolina, working hard like that, Carter Hart better be ready for that one. I won't be putting. I'm not actually going to be. I've been going hard on against Arizona, but that is a game where I could see them winning. Carolina versus Florida, that will be a monster match. Yeah, I wouldn't even want to put anything on that one. I would just want to enjoy that game. But I think that is tough. Bobrovsky will be in there. Anderson. Wow, that is talk about a coin flip. No, Hutton. That's got to be it for Hutton. You can't be using Hutton anymore unless you really want to tank. I mean, I suppose, but that's got to be it for Hutton. Hutton, he's had so many chances since he was in St. Louis. The 1 year he said he had to get some sort of eye surgery. He wasn't seeing the puck right or something. Then he did that, and he still had a terrible year. And then he gets his chance in Arizona to be decent. Like, you're not going to get great numbers or anything like that, but you got to have the games like Vejmelka does, where you just stop everything once in a while. And he just doesn't look like he has anything like that in him. He doesn't look like he has anything like that in him at all. You couldn't even trade him away now. That was the thing about that. Is there something that the Canes need to go for the cup? I mean, nothing much. Let me bring up the, maybe some of that. They kind of miss what they had in Williams there a little bit. A guy like that, like your Perry or, somebody like that. But even then, you got Derek Stepan's been around for a while. He's great for your energy and your team. Possibly defensive depth, but I don't see too much. Maybe just some cups. Some guys with some cups. Aho, Teravainen, Svechnikov. Jordan Staal has a cup. Fast. Yeah, they don't really have any cups in the room. Don't you dare go on that. I got this thing telling. Okay, good. Yeah, Colorado could use that as well. They do have Staal, who does have a cup, but I mean, that's really all I could think of. As long as as long as Anderson holds up, and it looks like he is, I don't see where they need too much. I don't see. They're not the type of team that swings for the fences for some guy to fill a scoring role or something like that. That they are really strong on keeping your own guys and building a family and stuff like that. And that's what's great about Carolina. But maybe an upgrade on Trocheck, since Trocheck is free agent at the end of the year. That should be good now. It says excellent connection now. It just kind of slipped out for a little bit. Maybe an upgrade on Trocheck. That would be about the only thing I could think of. If you could use Trocheck and some picks, but who's out there? Who doesn't want another big center or something like that in your lineup? Everybody does, and it would be pretty expensive to do that, and it just doesn't seem like them to change their chemistry like that. But that would be about the only thing I could think of that they would do to improve that lineup. I think D'Angelo's working well, like I figured he probably would. You got shutdown guys in Pesci and Slavin, and Bear is holding out. They got him on the 5-6 spot now. Yeah, like depth guys. Yeah, he's fine. But, I mean, if you're not going to sign him anyways, and there's a centerman out there, which I'd have to look. I don't know if there's a centerman out there or not that could do that. Let me take a look here. Like, you look at the teams that'll be out. You got that will probably be out. Chicago doesn't really have anybody that's going to be an upgrade. LA is probably not going to want to trade anybody away right now. It might be a quiet deadline the way Blue Jackets are looking for a center. So they're not going to be a fit. I don't really see anything out there that they could go for, really. I know what's going on. I don't know. Ellis is still day to day. I don't know why they traded Bear either. We were talking about on this very thing. Like, for Fogel, I mean, Fogel performs a role for them. And like I said, it's got to the point where it doesn't seem to matter if he messes up. They have a team that the only thing I can think of is Bear wanted out. I think maybe Bear wanted to be traded because he had some issues with some fans that year in Edmonton and really got offended by it. So I think that maybe he wanted out and people knew it, so he didn't have much leverage, in which case it would make sense, I guess. That's about the only thing I can think. It's possible. I know that he got really offended by some of the fans. There was a piece, several pieces on it that reporters did or journalists did here in Edmonton about racism towards him being Native American and being Native or Aboriginal, and that's crazy. I don't. I don't know if maybe he should maybe not be so emotional about that. Like, he's a professional, but I don't know what was said or what happened or whatever. Maybe he didn't like the way the Oilers reacted to it either. So he finally said, you know what, I think it'd be best for me to go somewhere else. And I mean, he's also Canadian native too, so there's a stigma attached to that. So now he's in Carolina, nobody would know anything. Like, it'd be pretty safe for him to be out and about and you wouldn't hear that nonsense and stuff like that. Oh, there's racist people everywhere. Or are you being facetious? Yeah, there's racist people in Edmonton for sure. Is Edmonton a racist place? No, I wouldn't say that. But is there racist people in Edmonton? Yeah, absolutely. And there's been a lot of talk about fans like Lucic. They were all over them. Like there were some idiots here that were yelling at Lucic like when he was out about and stuff like that with his family, saying crap about him and talking about his contract and you're a bum and all that kind of stuff like that. And I don't. He never really asked for a trade, but they were looking to move him for basically production reasons because of the contract he had. And he had a no trade clause. And when it came to the fact that he was going to Calgary, now I don't know why you would think it would be any different in Calgary, to tell you the honest truth, but he decided to take it. So, yeah, would I say that Edmontonians are racist in general? No, not at all. I mean, no more than anywhere else, I don't think. There might be places that are less racist, sure, but I have an inkling that that's what it was. I have an inkling that he asked to be moved. So and then that gets around the league pretty quick. And he's just a young guy that never was able to make the Oilers lineup, which if you ask Peyton on the radio or I'd say that alone was kind of ridiculous. So they poorly managed the kid anyways. There's the other thing too. He probably thought he was better than some of the players that were there and didn't get a fair shake anyways. So no. I imagine in the room and stuff like that, like calming things down. I have noticed that the last couple, lately, they've been playing the style that they have to be to win. And maybe Duncan Keith is going a long way to encourage players to play that type of game because it's the only way they're going to win. They've got to play aggressive offensive hockey, hitting, skating, taking the man everywhere you go. You don't worry about defense too much. They got to be taking risks. So you got to be extremely confident in your game. You got to be. So I would say Keith probably helps players with confidence, but on the ice, he's definitely not worth his salary. That's for sure. Is William Karlsson injured? I don't know. I haven't seen anything on that. That would just be devastating for them. Holy crap. If William Karlsson is injured in Vegas, I don't see anything there he's injured on Cap Friendly anyways. I thought Mark Stone came back. He didn't? Oh, jeez. I heard he came back. No, it doesn't seem like he's gone. Now, there has been speculation about Karlsson being part of the Eichel trade. That's for sure. Which makes sense. He's certainly the kind of personality you'd want in Buffalo. He's a very happy-go-lucky guy. He's low maintenance. I imagine he wouldn't be overly too happy with the trade right away, but he's the kind of guy, the way Buffalo is going right now, if they're playing well, he probably would stick around. So, but I haven't heard anything about the injury. If there is something that I don't know about an injury with him, I would imagine that Eichel trade would go back on the shelf again for a while. Because I'm pretty sure that Buffalo's going to want him in that trade. He's he's only 28 years old. He would be a good veteran presence on a team that really needs it, especially up the middle. that would be a bad move. I don't know. If my doctors are telling me that, well, did you see the last game he played? Was that against Montreal? Before I get into that, you guys are throwing so much stuff on me. I got to make sure I finish one thing before I go to the other. I'm not sure that would be a bad move. They're trying to win now. Eichel is if Eichel is healthy, and if my doctors are telling me, oh yeah, he'll come back and be 100%, I think I got to make that move if I'm Vegas, because they're not going to win with what they got. They're not going to win Stanley Cup with that lineup, even if it's full. Last year, I had my concerns up the middle with them, and I left them on the shelf and said, oh yeah, they're going to make it. And when it came right down to it, their lack of depth up the middle hurt them. And they know that. Especially if any injuries happen. Then again, if Eichel got injured, it'd be all over. But Trevor Zegras, yeah, he got hurt, but he came back. He played the rest of the game, so it looks like he's going to be all right. Do I think Fleury gets moved from Chicago? If they're totally out of it, I think ultimately the whole thing, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think he ends up in Pittsburgh this year. As long as Chicago is right out of it, which it looks like they're going to be, I think he ends up in Pittsburgh this year. I think that's the whole point. I think they did that. See, it was a good move in a sense. Like, they're sneaky, the Chicago Blackhawks management. Now, that may change now that Ballard is out. Not Ballard. Bowman is out. Stan Bowman. But all this while, he's been trying to convince Taves every year that they're not rebuilding, that they're going for it. So you bring in a guy like Fleury, and Taves, like, he's a player. He's not a manager. He's not looking at the lineup going, you know, maybe we're not good enough or whatever the case may be. All he wants is to see the organization is trying to win right now. So you bring in Fleury, and you're actually in the background really still rebuilding, right? So you bring him in for nothing. The team doesn't do well, which they probably figured it wouldn't do well. And then you trade him to Pittsburgh for some prospects and a pick, and you end up rebuilding, but making it look like you weren't rebuilding. The Jones pickup is something you're going to do whether you're rebuilding or not. Now, you can forget about what I think or you think about how good of a defenseman Jones is. The fact is they think that Jones is a number one center. He's very young. They sign him up, and even if they're rebuilding, he's a part of the piece of the rebuild anyway. So you're not actually going for it. And now, why would you do that? Well, first of all, it's because you want these young players to see what Taves does on a daily basis to try to win a cup. You're not going to get a better guy for rallying the troops. He's one of the best leaders ever. And you get to see the type of intensity it takes. And that's huge. Like, you got a team like Arizona, they got to do that too. They got to find guys that can help their young players that are coming up learn what it means to be and to play with intensity every night. Yeah, now that Bowman's gone, yeah. I heard a rumor about that. Fleury to the Edmonton Oilers. And that would be amazing. Don't get me wrong. That would be freaking amazing. I would absolutely love that. I just doubt it very, very much. I think that the whole thing was set up for him to go to Pittsburgh right off the get-go. I think that's more speculation than reality. I think there's people speculating out there that it would, that the Oilers would do well. And they could trade Koskinen and a package of players. They could trade Koskinen, but I'm pretty sure they made a deal with Fleury that if they're out of it, he's going to Pittsburgh. 'Now, that would assume, of course, that Fleury, if they're out of it, he's going to Pittsburgh. Now, that would assume, of course, that Fleury, if they're out of it, he's going to Pittsburgh. Now, that would assume, of course, that Fleury, if they're out of it, he's going to Pittsburgh. Now, that would assume, of course, Yeah, there's going to be a spot for him there no matter what. Even if Jari's playing really well, I mean, DeSmith is. They could trade DeSmith, and and this will be the last year. Maybe they trade their first round pick or something like that. I don't know if you'd have to give up that much to get him. Yeah, and then they got to make sure they're good then too. Chicago did give up a crap load for that. Now, that being said, I mean, if you're going to be rebuild, you need a stud defenseman. So you're looking to draft that anyways. So if you're going to get him right now, maybe it's worth the risk, assuming you think that. I personally wouldn't have made the trade, but I don't think I would have made that trade because I just don't. I didn't like Jones the last 2 years in Columbus, and I think it was too risky for that kind of money. Is that how it works now? There's only 2 lottery picks? It's only the first 2. Let me look that up. Let me get you guys up here so I can see what you're saying. Yeah, we were talking about that. I wanted to talk more about that. Caulfield to the AHL. And they did that to Kokaniemi too. I guess they want him to go down to Montreal and kind of avoid the losing environment that they have right now. So they're sort of protecting him from this losing environment. He wants to go somewhere more positive to help him out and maybe they think he's lacking confidence or whatever the case may be. Okay, let me look it up here. What's the new rules? This change was influenced by the 2020. So what is the new rule? Well, that didn't tell me much. Cooper, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming in. Woo! Right on. So we're now all I find here is they did an announcement that they changed the rules, but nobody tells me. I can't find anything where it says what the new lottery rules are. What are the new lottery rules? They might be on the trade block. He actually had a good game there not too long ago. Okay, maybe the Athletic will tell me. Okay. The NHL board approved changes to the draft lottery on Tuesday, reducing the number of picks involved in the lottery from 3 to 2. Okay, yeah, it is just 2. While restricting how many spots a team can jump up. The reduction in the lottery picks from these 2 will be implemented. See, I don't agree with these rules. I don't think this is a good idea. I liked it the way it was. The whole point was to stop people from tanking. Now, if I'm now you notice this year how many teams are kind of tanking, because you're going to get that. Wait till next year with Bedard up there, man. They're going to be tanking like crazy. Everybody gives some hype to Cooper. I don't know if you're subbed up or not, buddy, but thank you for coming in. Wait till next year when Bedard is there and the Russian kid. Those 2 guys are going to be superstars in this league, it looks like. They're going to be tanking like crazy. If you think your team's no good, then you're probably going to be going. There's 4, yeah. So they might have been tanking anyways, because there's also... oh, what's that? Geeky. Morgan Geeky looks like a gooder. Michkov and Bedard, though, look absolutely insane. How's Bedard doing right now? Let's look up, see what Bedard is doing right now. See how he's doing so far this year. Where's he? Is he playing in college? No, he's playing. I didn't think he was playing in college. How come they don't have it updated here? That's weird. They don't have it updated at the moment. Yeah, I know he's in the NHL or WHL. That's what I thought. Let's see if we got it here. No, that's Shane. That's 2022. How come? I don't know why Elite Prospects doesn't have it updated. Elite Prospects, okay. I just looked at that. Oh, there, 2001, okay. Oh, you know what? That's weird. He only has 10 points in 11 games right now. For him, that's not very good. I'm sure that'll change. It's only 11 games, but I'm surprised he has that few points. Michkov is playing in the VHL. Let me look that up. How's he doing this year? No, he's had 10 games in the K and got 2 goals and 1 assist. Not like crazy good, but in the MHL he had 13 points in 6 games. So and now they brought him up and he has 2 goals, 3 points in 10 games. But even a kid that can play in the KHL at all right now at this age is pretty impressive right off the get-go. What do you want, Beniers? How's Beniers doing so far? Let's take a look at that. Matthew Beniers, elite prospects. So far, he's got 5 points in 8 games. He's not crushing it, really. But you know what? I've noticed that I've looked up, like, Shane Wright isn't really crushing it. Like, it doesn't seem like anybody's crushing it right now. And how about Owen Power? How's Owen Power doing? Yeah, my computer's being slow here. Owen Power, University of Michigan. Yeah, they're all on the same team too, eh? They're all on Michigan. Owen Power, Johnson. That might be why that Beniers he's probably taking a lesser role because of they're just stacked. Owen Power's running 8 points in 8 games. He's on a point-to-game pace. That's pretty good. So, and that's the guy I picked too. I had Johnson high, and Columbus picked him, which is no surprise because Kekalainen is a draft genius. Do I think someone takes Sabrin? Probably not. You gotta love that guy though, eh? Like, he's a warrior. He's not that skilled, but he's a warrior. That's not him. Why did they give me some guy from Penn State? Is it Ken Johnson? Is it Ken Johnson? Is it Ken? Why would they give me some guy from Penn State when I'm searching it? Oh, maybe I did that. This way. Ken Johnson, Michigan. Nothing came up. I'm sure it's Ken Johnson. Johnson, Michigan hockey. Let's see what comes up. Kent Johnson. Kent with the T. That's right. They don't have it. Elite prospects. Kent Johnson. I found it now. Oh, he's got 10 points in 8 games. That's good pointage for the college. He's doing better than Beniers right now. I thought Johnson was going to be better than Beniers. I don't know. I could be wrong. Beniers is a different type of player though, so it's hard to. But I liked Johnson better than Beniers. Is there more? Is there more COVID protocol by the Sharks now? Well, I hope so. I mean, I got to say though, Connor Bedard's early numbers are not great. So for this year, but I'm sure that'll change. Yeah, Cole Caulfield is sent to the AHL. They did it with Kokaniemi. This almost the same thing. Like played a year and everything, and then sent him down, then brought him back up again. I don't know. Watching it, I mean, I thought he looked all right. Isn't he like second in points already right now? It's kind of a weird move. The only thing I can think of is there's just a lot of the losing aspect of it. It can mentally wear on a player, and they probably just want him to focus on getting his game better, improving, than worrying about whether, wins and losses right now. That's the only thing I can think about that. Oh, Brant Clark is killing it? Wow. Okay, I'll check that out too. Glad you guys are bringing this up. Caulfield, how many points? Oh, didn't he have? I thought he was second in points. Oh, he only had 1 assist. Oh my gosh. Okay, I see. I don't know where I heard. I heard that he was second in points. He's not second in points. That was on Sirius Radio. He's only got 1 assist in 10 games. So he's struggling hard. Montreal doesn't know how to develop talent. It sure seems that way, buddy. I mean, they haven't had, like Caulfield and before Caulfield and Kokaniemi, they had 1 first-round pick that made it for 10 years. Like Pacioretty was the first-round pick. Brant Clark is killing it right now. Okay. Look up Brant Clark. And LA took Brant Clark, right? Holy crap, yeah, I guess so. 12 points in 8 games. 3 goals, 9 assists in 8 games for the Barrie Colts. Wow. They rush him into the NHL, yeah. They do. Yeah. I mean, and the other one was the other first round pick that is not making is Paille too. Or is that what his name is again? Not Paille. Paille was played for Boston Bruins back in the day. Oh, not Paille. Paling. Ryan Paling. Ryan Paling is doing just absolutely horrible. Steals in the house. Yeah. the best live stream with a guy named Pearlo in it. For sure. That is for sure. I'm pretty sure. Might not be very good, but it's the best one with a guy named Pearlo in it for sure. I am really concerned about Velarde too, Hajin. I am. Now, I don't know why, I think that they're misusing him. Like, he's got lots of skill, that guy. If I was a team out there right now, like a rebuilding team, and you know, LA said that the rebuild is over, maybe they're looking for a piece right now, and that's the guy I'd be looking at, because when he plays on the wing, and they finally did put him on the wing, that guy looks like he's got some really good hands. Like, I don't understand. They just seem to be. It's like they. I don't know. I don't know what it is. They're supposed to be smarter than me, so. He's not a center. I don't know why they keep on trying to put him at center. He's not a center. Enough with the center stuff already. And then he loses confidence, and he kind of goes in the tank and tries to play too defensive. It's very weird. I think he's just not good for their roster, the way they have it set up. And now they got Kupari playing center. Is Velarde hurt now? Or was he scratched? He's a scratch now. Oh, he's in COVID protocol. Okay. On the fourth line, yeah. I know his skating is not spectacular. That's for sure. When he was drafted, he wasn't known for his skating. He had to improve his skating a lot. But he's got hands. He's got killer stick. He's a killer stick handler. He's got a good shot. He goes hard to the net. He's your classic second, third line tweener winger that can go up and down the wing and, you know, teach him a simple game to try to be an add-on to an offensive line. I mean, I really like him. I would be all over it. I'm not giving up on that guy. Like, I think that they're really making a mistake here. Ellis is out, yes. And Philadelphia is doing well without him right now. You got to admit, I mean, the guy that we've made fun of for a long time, Steele Braun, is having a great season so far. And then, of course, it helps when you got a high percentage shooter like Atkinson now, and he's high percentage scoring. That certainly helps out a lot. And both of your goaltenders are playing well. It's all looking pretty good. They were out of gas, though, against that Calgary. That Western road trip on the third game saps the crap out of everybody. Oh, the Phantoms are winless. Wow. Yeah, he can play anywhere, Kupari, I think. You gave love to Braun the other day, right on. I like Zach McEwen. That was a nice pickup. You want to talk about a team that can't identify talent very well? Vancouver. Like they let Zach McEwen go for nothing. There is nothing wrong with that guy as a fourth line winger at all. Lappy is. for the Capitals. Are you talking about the Capitals? It seems to me that they're just trying to get Ovechkin to get, like, they're focusing too much on Ovechkin scoring there. Everything's going through Ovechkin right now. I do like the fact that they've simplified wrist. Oh, Lappy. Okay, I don't know who Lappy is. I haven't caught up to the AHL this year. I did kind of go through and see who was getting points and stuff like that a couple days ago, but I haven't been following up too much in the AHL. So what is it? Well, who is the coach in the AHL for the Phantoms? But yeah, Philadelphia is getting a lot out of that lineup right now. Sanheim, I still think, I don't know. It'll be nice when when we get Ellis back, for sure. And of course Hayes. But the fact that we're doing so well without them right now is pretty cool. And Travis Konechny's playing fantastic so far this year. That's the Konechny we were all looking for. 6 points in 7 games, playing both ways, playing hard, ticking people off. I think it can be said for just about any sport. If you don't have the physical, if you're not mentally there, it doesn't matter how physical you are. Yeah. Briere, yeah, he's sort of, I guess, Briere was a little more scrappy than Atkinson is. And I don't think he had the shot. But for a guy who doesn't skate like 100, like he's not the greatest skater, he's just so smart at knowing where to be on the ice. That's what Atkinson's main thing is. And when he's playing with confidence, he can pick corners all day long. He did it in Columbus all the time. If Tortorella would have let him take some risks and be able to get up the ice fast enough to get into the spots that he needed to, and he did at one time. And when he did in Columbus, he would score from the hash marks like all the time. And that's rare. You don't see players do that anymore. Oh yeah. Oh, for compared more gritty than Briere? I don't know about that. But he does have a better shot for sure. He's not as much good of a playmaker as Danny Briere was. Danny Briere was pretty courageous player. And he was a center too. So he had to play a different type of game. Well, they're just keeping it simple with him, and that's the way they need. I thought that was the best way to go with that. I thought that was the best way to go with him is just keep it simple. Don't worry about points or anything like that right now. Just keep it simple. Play a shutdown game. Focus on your own end. Then we'll work on offense after that. That's really what. And he hasn't put up points, and he shouldn't be right now. So what do you think about Cole Caulfield being sent down to the AHL still? Well, like I said, Briere was the center, so he had to play a different game, but he was very good defensively, though. He was a good all-around player, Danny Briere, for sure. I mean, he's got a big shot. I want him to eventually score goals. But right now, He just got to get that defensive part of his game down, just a little bit at a time. Focus on defense. Keep it simple. You don't have to try to save the world like he did in Buffalo, where he felt like he had to be the guy all the time. Cam York is killing it in the AHL. It doesn't surprise me. I thought he would have been playing. Oh, he's not killing it points-wise. He only has 2 points in 7 games, but I haven't been able to watch him on the ice, so I'm sure he's doing well. Oh, yeah, he's going to make it all right. I thought he might have already made it, but... and now he's playing on a losing team for the Phantoms right now, so... How many games have they played and they haven't won yet? Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that's what you're right. I think that's it, Steele, too. It's just the environment there is crappy right now. And they don't want to put too much pressure on the kid that it's his fault or anything like that. So you send him down. I don't know what Montreal's... What's Montreal's... I should know this. Laval Rocket. Let's see how they're doing. Let's see if we can get it. Laval Rocket. They seem to be doing, yeah, they're doing a lot better down there. So he's going to get a chance to play with guys that are getting like point a game. Oh, they're scoring a lot of points down there. So you got a little bit of a winning attitude, make you feel better, get some wins in you underneath you. You know, have some fun. Probably that's pretty much it. Have some fun. I don't even know if this is a really bad move in itself. It's just unfortunate. I think maybe like I said, they brought him up too fast to begin with, or they didn't, but they noticed that he's not having fun right now. So the kid's got to have fun and play, and you know, he's being too hard on himself. All of those sort of things like that. Yeah, Savard was not the answer there. I didn't like that pickup, and Allen is just. Every time Allen has to be the guy, he poops the bed every time. St. Louis, he did. He's a good when he's a 1B or like just a backup or whatever, he seems to do well. But as soon as he has to be the guy falters all the time. It's crazy. The good thing for them is they got a lot of draft picks next year. I mean, they could turn it around, I suppose, but I find it very unlikely. And now we don't know when Price is going to be back. And for now, you might as well not even bring him back, because the odds of them coming back from where they are now, it's pretty slim. pretty slim for Montreal to get much better than they are, or to be able to come back from where they are now. So how many? What Sharks were placed on? Oh, look, Kevin LeBanc is on COVID now. Darlene, Carlson, Middleton, Nieto, Simic, Vlasic, and now, oh my gosh. Are we going to have a team shut down again? Andrew Cogliano, like they don't have anybody. When do they play again? I think they play tomorrow night, if I remember correctly. Oh, the good thing for them is they don't play now until Wednesday, it looks like. Not even. When the heck do they play again? It's a good thing it happened now. No, they play tomorrow against Buffalo. Why didn't I notice that? Wow, okay, I'll be taking Buffalo all day there. They won their last game, though, after all that happened, and then they play St. Louis after that. Ouch. Yeah, actually, I think it was more about trying to make the playoffs last year for Montreal was more about Weber. I think they knew Weber was going to retire. I think Weber was given a one more shot, so he went all in for them. And now it's just back to reality again. They don't have a roster that's good enough. So it's back to a kind of rebuild. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much I think they've already pretty much put it in place now that this is a rebuild. They're not good enough, so we're going to grab draft picks. I wonder if Montreal will trade anybody away at the deadline now for picks. I don't know who that would be that they would do that to at the moment. Oh, I'd have to look. Probably, maybe Jake Evans. I don't think, I think, did Tyler Toffoli have a no movement clause? Oh my gosh, what if they traded Tyler Toffoli? He's 29 years old. After signing him to 3 years, $4 million. Lehkonen, you don't really have all that much to trade away. That's the other bad thing. Sherratt. I don't know if Sherratt wants to re-sign again. I don't know what direction you go now. I don't know. Bergevin could probably surprise you. I don't know. Morgan Frost isn't doing well in the AHL. My worry about Morgan Frost was he put on 20 pounds in like 2.5 months. How the heck does a guy do that? You know, I mean, I was good that he bulked up, but I think he bulked up too much too fast. And he was supposed to do it in Philadelphia, and he went and did it by himself. So did they send a trainer to help him or something? I don't know, but Is Berg on the hot seat? Oh, Bergevin? It doesn't sound like they're going to sign him. He has made it, he said, in a perfect world, I'll be back. Bergevin. But the words I hear from his mouth is he's out of contract year right now. And from what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound like he's coming back. Must have ate Mary Brown's every day, yeah. I don't know, that's a lot to put. Oh, no, I don't think the Flames GM's on the hot seat. Benning should be on the hot seat. Green will probably end up getting fired. Bergevin, yeah, I know. Bergevin. He's on, this is his contract year. And they asked him about it. They asked him, he's been asked about it, and he said, in the perfect world, I'd resign, but that's not really like, oh yeah, we're going to resign. It's just going to take time and all that kind of stuff like that. It sounds like it's kind of up in the air whether they're going to re-sign him or not. Yeah, the Flames are doing really well, so I don't think they're going anywhere right now. They're going to probably be buyers at the deadline now. Kyle is on the hot seat. Who's Kyle? I think general managers, I mean, it's a little early to be putting anybody on a hot seat right now. I mean, Stan Bowman's already gone. Yeah, I don't think they need too much. They've got like a first, 2 seconds, and 3/3 or something like that. And last year they had a lot of second-round picks. So I think Bergevin was preparing himself for this a little bit. He knew he was going to go for it, and then grabbed as many picks as he could. Because once Weber was gone, he was probably pretty sure this team wasn't going to be a cup contender. Not yet. I think Toronto's got to go be a lot worse than this yet. You got a team that Toronto, you got to remember, had all new, everything was changed there. So you got to give that team time to gel and become better and all that stuff like that. If they miss the playoffs this year, maybe. If they miss the playoffs this year. But he's just hanging on to the COVID thing right now because that thwarted his plans. So either you got to go a different direction or they're going to believe in the plan and wait for the cap to keep on going up and add people to this roster just like they were before. And just say, okay, it's just taking longer because of COVID. And if they view it that way, he'll probably be, keep on coming back. So, which at the moment, it looks like that's how they're viewing it. At the moment, it looks like that's how they're viewing it. So I think he's probably safe, unless they really crap the bed hard. They really crap the bed hard, and there's a guy out there that they have had an eye on, and want to think about bringing in, then maybe. Knowing them, they'll go the opposite. They'll go to another old guy. Could be the first year they do a lot in the playoffs. We'll see. Their defense has been, their defense doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be really good. It just, if it's average, if it can play average and they can play high-end, high-tempo hockey and make it effective in the playoffs, then maybe, yeah. But I'm still skeptical. Like, they're going to play Seattle tonight. This is going to be a big game to watch because Seattle has, hey, Joe Flyers, how you doing? Seattle has a big, strong, fairly mobile defense. And Larson knows what they're going to do, right? So that nullifies Zach Hyman type game where they go basically Edmonton tries to cycle a lot. They cycle and use their speed. I don't think they do it as well as Minnesota does yet, but if they could, then they would be all right. But Seattle's a tough team to cycle against because they'll peg you up against the boards. Now, if they're going to continue that and they don't have a different plan, I think Seattle could take this game tonight. If they don't work out a different plan, what I would do with what I would do more often that I don't see them doing is, in the power play where you have a drop pass, where you drop pass and a guy comes in with speed. Why don't they have McDavid run to the back, run sort of slingshot in the back and do the same sort of thing? Use his speed to find a spot, and then send it to the half boards after you push the defense back. Then you have some room to move around where you don't have to cycle as much anymore. And that's what I would try to do in Seattle. I don't see them doing that anywhere near enough because there's teams like Seattle that the cycle's not going to work very well against. Last night, Shesterkin completely bailed out the Rangers. Completely. The Rangers shouldn't have won that game at all. Yeah, I got to say, I love what they're doing too, and I'm really disappointed in myself that I didn't give Sutter more credit than I did before the season started. He's right like he was in LA. He has them playing a tough brand of hockey, aggressive, moving the puck fast, super confident, and extremely high compete level. And a lot of that is Coleman. Coleman is keeping players accountable. He can point to a guy like Coleman and say, you follow what he's doing. If you can even come close to working like he does, you'll stay in the lineup. I don't think Cheveldayoff's on the hot seat now. Markstrom is playing fantastic. I could see it. That makes sense, John, that would go to overtime because I've been looking at that. Kaner is supposed to be back. Murray is in net, and Fleury was absolutely a beast in his last game. It looks like he's got his back. So I was looking at that possibly being a tie, because usually when I'm back and forth on a game like that, it usually ends up being that. Yeah, that's the other thing, Lauren, is they love Paul Maurice there. They absolutely love Paul Maurice in Winnipeg for sure. Yeah, that being a tie is a good possibility. The Tampa Bay-Washington game is going to be a fun. There's not many games on tonight, but there's going to be some pretty fun ones. I think Tampa Bay probably takes that game in Washington. They get up for big games and they don't get up for games like both of those teams actually are like that. But Edmonton, Florida Stanley Cup final. I think Florida would win that. Everybody wants a team like Edmonton to make the finals. Because that's the way we want to see hockey played. Let's face it. Fans want to see hockey played that way. And I criticize Holland a lot, but one thing I gotta say is Edmonton is difficult to get players to come to. The city's cold, and all the reasons for that. It's not the sexiest city in the world, but players love to play hockey the way Edmonton is playing hockey. So, and plus you have McDavid there. So players will go there. They really want to win, and they want to win a cup, but they want to win a cup and play the way it's fun. And play the way Edmonton plays is a fun way to play hockey. It's what everybody wants. Nobody wants, I'm sorry, but I don't really want the Islanders to win a cup. I know it's an effective way to play in the playoffs, to the shutdown type game that they have, but it's boring as hell, let's face it. Most of their games are boring. They just wait for people to make mistakes, trap, all that kind of stuff like that. To me, it's not the way hockey's supposed to be played. And I would love to see a team like Edmonton or somebody like that win and change the narrative where general managers would say, you know what, we can win and have fun. We can win and make it entertaining for the fans. But, of course, not everybody has McDavid either. You got Caps all day? Well, we'll see. I think Tampa Bay is going to come. I think Tampa Bay's. I have a feeling I know how Tampa Bay is going to play that game. And they've got the players that can take out Ovechkin to a certain extent, at least limit him to one goal. Plus, you got Vasilevsky there, and they're starting to gel as a team. So, I think we'll see. I would love to see Edmonton win because I am an Oilers fan, but I'd almost more like to see them win to see that style of hockey become the way owners and general managers lean to doing from now on. Like it was back in the 80s, man. And that's basically what they are. They're like an 80s team. Start drafting offensive defensemen, letting the defenseman come up in the play, all of that kind of stuff like that, and beating these shutdown teams that are, to tell you the honest truth, just boring to watch. I like Carolina, on the other hand. They're sort of a hybrid, and I'm hoping that kind of happens. They'll shut it down when they need to, but they really can play a high-octane, fast game as well. And let's face it, the Islanders haven't made it every year because they can't score. They win series until they come up with a team that has some high percentage shooters, and like Tampa Bay or whatever, and they can't keep up scoring wise with them. So I'm hoping that the pendulum is swinging towards the more offensive teams, and getting Florida's like that. Florida's very aggressive. They don't play a trappy game. And they can't, because if they played that type of game in Florida, people wouldn't show up to the arena. And now that we're getting Seattle in and new teams, and it's starting to get popular in Tampa Bay and stuff like that, I think it would be great for the game, great for everybody, if teams started leaning towards nobody playing a 1-1-3 anymore. I would love it if you hardly ever saw a 1-1-3. Minnesota, I love Minnesota's game. They don't play a 1-1-3. They play a pretty aggressive, entertaining, they take risks in the offensive zone all the time. It's creative. It's fun. It's just the way hockey was supposed to be. I think. So guys, teams like Minnesota, Florida, teams like that. And as much as I said Tortorella, like I'm a big fan of Tortorella. What's a better way of saying it is, for a time I thought he was the best coach in the league. I don't like what he did in like the way he won in Columbus. I don't like it. I get it. I know why he did it, because he didn't have the talent to win any other way, but I don't like it. LA is also like that too, not defensive. So there's starting to be a lot more of a pendulum swing towards leaving the 1-1-3 type defense and stuff and actually playing an entertaining brand of hockey. What other games we got? We talked about Ottawa, Chicago. Ottawa, Chicago to me is the game tonight that I'm really on the fence about. On one hand, Ottawa can outwork anybody. That's the thing about Ottawa. On the other hand, Chicago is going to be desperate tonight at home. They got to get things turned around in Chicago. I think that there's going to be sort of a sense of relief after all that crap that happened. Eventually, that's going to settle out and get out of their minds, and they'll start playing more of the type of game that is going to be effective for winning. And then Fleury last game looked like the Fleury of old, and that's the big thing. If Fleury can keep on playing like that and they can get their heads in the game and not have their minds or energy towards all of the stuff that happened there this year so far, I think they could. That's one of the games. I think that's a game they could win, because man on man, they probably have the better roster. And Murray is a question mark on how good he's going to play for his first game back after being injured again. So Troy Terry has been crushing it. That Ducks team in general looks like they're getting it together. They Dallas Eakins has taken a lot of flack when we did coaches. We graded the coaches this year. We had Dallas Eakins got a pretty low grade. Now, when I saw him in Edmonton, I really liked him, and I wish they never would have let him go. To me, it looks like that team is starting to believe in themselves now, and they're making beautiful passes. They got to learn how to hold leads. That's where they really are faltering right now, is when they get ahead, they start playing the wrong game, playing a different game. And every team has to learn that, but a lot of guys looking confident in Anaheim. And they're doing what they're doing now, and I know they've lost, but they came back and scored 3 goals in the third period against Vegas, which really sucked because I needed Vegas on that one. They ended up losing that game. But they're doing this without Raquel. So a lot of their young players are stepping up, like Tory Terry. And they've been waiting for Tory Terry for a long time. And it looks like it's a small sample size, but maybe he's starting to be the player they always thought he would be. For sure. Your game of the week was the Flyers versus Flames. It's really hard to win that, sweep that Western. It's really hard to sweep that Western road trip, especially being from the East. You take that flight out. You start off against an Edmonton team with a 2-hour time difference, some jet lag, and they managed to hold on for that one. And then you go to Vancouver, which is another time change. You go to Calgary. You go to Vancouver, which is another time change, which is weird. And then you go back to Calgary, which is another time change. So your body is all messed up. Your time clock is screwed up and stuff like that. So It's pretty tough to win that one, to sweep that series. Not I I don't remember the last team that did it, and I should have thought about that. But the Flames, the funny thing about that though was the Flames had just come back from their Eastern road trip, and it was their first game after a long road trip. And their energy was extremely high for that road trip. They were on a high. They won 5 in a row. And then all of a sudden you got a dip now. You go see your family and you're like relaxed, and you got to try to recreate it all over again. And they kind of did. Yeah, there's all the time changes. Yeah. Which is, a way it should be is you should go to Edmonton to Calgary to Vancouver at least. Didn't they go from Edmonton to Vancouver to Calgary? If you go from Edmonton to Calgary, there's no time change. If you go to Edmonton to Vancouver, there is a time change. And then when you go back to Calgary, there's another time change. So it should be Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver. Vancouver is Pacific. So that's a 3-hour time change. Like Philly to Edmonton is 2 hours. And then you go back another hour to Vancouver. And then you come back to the normal, to Mountain Time to go to play against Calgary. And then you fly back home again. Now, this is going to be the big game, I think, for Philadelphia, where they got to play Arizona right now. Because this is their first game after that long Western road trip. And they got to get their legs moving for that game, because Arizona now has become a hard-working team. And if you're going to lose against them, it's going to be because they outworked you. So I'm pretty sure they'll win that game, but I'm not as confident as I was for any other game they played so far. Yeah, I know. Actually, they lost, but it was a very impressive loss, because that was a tough game. They didn't get blown out. They didn't give up. They played hard the whole game. They played with good energy, all of that stuff like that. To me, that's kind of a win in a way. The Philadelphia Flyers team last year would have been done halfway through the game. Carolina is very impressive, and it was all about whether Anderson was going to be healthy, and he's healthy and he's playing unreal. Well, they're probably going to do what it seems like all other teams are doing, and I don't really agree myself. They're probably going to play very tentative, in a sense. Not tentative isn't the right word, but puck management. Everybody's playing tough puck management against Arizona, because the only way you're going to lose to them is if you cough up the puck a few times. You don't want to take penalties. You do those two things, and you're going to beat Arizona, probably. And work hard. So all of them that's what people are doing. I think if you run and gun with Arizona, you're going to beat them more often than not. I think you've got more of a chance running and gunning with them if you can find a way to do it, because they can't score with a darn. They don't have any shooters on that team hardly at all. But every team, including Carolina, have not played that way. Yeah, he's just playing a healthy game. When he was in Toronto, I mean, he was everything a year or two for them. Well, yeah, I mean, If he was healthy, I knew he'd be good for sure, very good with that defense. If Nedeljkovic can put up the numbers he did in Carolina, he's going to put up the same thing as long as he's healthy. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, I hope that they must have an insight on his injury status, because otherwise, yeah, you leave Toronto, yeah. It was good for him to get out of that situation, for sure. But you're injured. What are you going to do? Yeah, well, I mean, that certainly helps out your goaltender having some team defense for sure. Their team defense is, or their system there is absolutely meticulous and awesome, and everybody buys in, no doubt about it. That's why Brindy gets the Adams last year. And he deserved it. I thought Q should have got it, but yeah, well, yeah, they don't have any money to do it. I wonder what would have happened if the cap did go up like it was supposed to, though. I wonder what they would have got. Marner and Matthews in that, they looked good the last game, though. They did look good the last game. So if they can get, you got to remember the whole team changed pretty much. You lose your big grinding Hyman. Now you got to you got to rethink everything you're doing. Hyman was the guy that went and got the puck. Now who do they have to do that now? Nobody really. So they got to change their whole way of their approach and everything with the new guys that they have now, because, and we'll see how that turns out. I don't know. But I mean, I still don't think that the team's ever going to be as good as it was. I can't see it anyways. Richie's been a disaster. Bunting's been good, but he's been like what I kind of figured he would be. He's got to be like maybe 12 minutes a night. Can't play him too much. You know, he's going to get his point. He's going to get his occasional points, and he's going to work hard for you. But he's not going to be the guy that's going to go consistently peel the puck out of the corners every game. Who do they have to do that? Nobody. Kasha looks like a guy that was injured for a long time. Lauren Darkin is a Toronto focused on. Yeah, there's no defensive pieces to get. I don't see how they're going to be able to pull defense now. I imagine that's what they're going to try to do at the trade deadline. Toronto almost assuredly is just trying to stay in it until the trade deadline, and then they're going to end up trading draft picks again. That's really what they're going to do. And what's going to be available at the deadline? There's a lot of thin. The teams that are not making the playoffs are fairly thin. What are you going to get, Leddy? Leddy's not going to help you out too much. Got to hope that maybe Anaheim craps the bed and you can go get Manson or something like that. That would be good. Lauren, I got so used to Lauren crushing it that I don't even think about it anymore. It's like having, it's just Lauren's always crushing it. All the guys on here that come in here. Mercer, look at Mercer. Maybe they can get like Kulak from Montreal, or, you know, wouldn't be too bad, I suppose. Columbus might have some guys if they're like, oh, I watched Columbus there. Who are they playing against? They don't look good yet. They don't look like a team that's going to come close to the playoffs this year. But they don't really have any defensemen that you would trade away either. Voracek, to me, doesn't look good in Columbus. Laine is one of those. Laine is a guy that hides in the shadows and comes out and scores. And he needs to play with really good players. So I think in the end, after it's all said and done, I don't know. They're going to trade Laine. Well, if they can get people off of COVID protocol, they got half their team on COVID protocol right now. Yeah, I don't. Can Buffalo keep it going? They got the Eichel trade to happen yet. You know, if depending on what they get back in that Eichel trade, and if Anderson can keep his 40-year-old body keep on going the way it's going, like, hey, Bill, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming in. Right on. Good to see you. Woo! Bill T in the house. You never know, right? Like, they're talking about Carlson and Krebs, maybe. You know, you bring you add Carlson and Krebs and to that lineup now, and the way, like, they're getting outplayed though. They're winning a lot of games that they're outplayed in. I don't think that's going to hold up, but they find ways to stay in the game. Freaking still, and Jeff Skinner still 3 points in 8 games for a $9 million a year player. Pulling 15 minutes a night. Oh, yeah. Evander Kane definitely sucked the life. Talk about addition by subtraction. There's no doubt about that. He sucked the life right out of that team. Oh, he is so what? I mean, you couldn't get more. That it's insane that he got $9 million a year. How many until 2027? Putting in your 1 cent. But I mean, if they got Carlson and Krebs, you would have that. Rasmus Asplund's having one heck of a year. My gosh. And you got Middlestat back. So you could have Asplund, Tage, and Olofsson. That line seems to be working well. Then you bring Carlson in. Oh, he's going to have to play with Jeff Skinner. That's why they got Kyle Okposo up on that line. Kyle Okposo can slap Skinner in the head when he's not going in the spots and need to be there. All right, see you later. See you at 5:30, Steele. Well, yeah. In fairness, he did have I think he had. Didn't he have a 40-goal year that year? I would be ashamed of my life if I was Skinner to go and work hard for your contract and play the way you're supposed to play, and then just cash it in after that. Just pack it in completely after that. That's ridiculous. He's ruining he is a blight on what is turning out to be a great team. Adams has really brought in some players that have a much better energy and a great coach, and he's still sucking like barnacle. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. Perimeter guy, won't go into the... Yeah, Allmark is looking good. I didn't think he wouldn't, and so is Swayman. Boston just desperately needs offensive depth. Is Allmark a starter now? I think that's going to be almost 50-50 still. I think they're going to try them both and go that way. Swayman's doing well. They just need offensive depth. The good thing about it is they could use wingers too, and they're not that hard to find out there. A center is what they really need, but also guys coming back that are injured, like Foligno. That's scary. That's worrisome. That is worrisome that Foligno is getting injured after being injured in Toronto like that. Nah, I mean, I don't think Swayman feels bad. He's not really losing his job. He is just a very young player, and he'll get many more opportunities to crush it. And I'm sure he's going to make Linus Ullmark have to play well in order to keep it, because he'll eventually, I'm pretty sure Swayman will take that spot from Linus Ullmark. And the good thing about it is I don't think he has a no movement clause. So once Swayman is ready, they can get some pretty good pieces back for Ullmark. So I think Voracek stays in Columbus. He's still making a lot of money. I don't think LA wants to throw that much money on a guy that age, and he doesn't have a cup. Voracek's happy there. He brings a different energy to Columbus. If they seem to, him and Laine seem to have some chemistry together. No, Vancouver Canucks will not make the playoffs. Do I mean Rask? About what? No. Swayman and Ullmark. What about Rask? No, I don't think Rask is going to be a factor much. That back injury is bad. When he comes back, he said he's going to do whatever the team wants. I think Rask is just going to take a small contract year by year from now on to stay in Boston. I don't know what's going to fit in for Rask. No, not Rask coming back. No, I think Rask is pretty much going to be a third stringer. He's borderline on retirement right now. He's borderline retirement. Probably, maybe, I don't know, goaltending coach or whatever. I confused the names. I said Rask. Okay, sorry. Did I say Rask? No, I think I was saying that Ullmark. Oh, that's what I was going to look. See, my ADHD. I get talking and I forget what I'm doing. Ullmark, 28 years old. I don't believe he has a no movement clause in his contract. Probably not for how much he signed for. Oh, he does. I'm sorry. He does have a new no movement clause in his contract for 2 years. And then he's got a moderate NTC 16 no trade list. Wow. That's interesting. Because I think Swayman could definitely take that #1 spot by then. I did not see the goal of Charlie Coyle in shootout. That's pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. I don't think Price retires. I think he comes back like a boss and plays really, really well. He's going to take care of himself and come back mentally on full bore, and I think Price is going to crush it for quite a while. I think he's going to do really well. The question is, will he continue doing so in Montreal? If that team keeps on faltering like that, will he continue doing it in Montreal? That's the question to me with Price. But I don't think Price will retire, no. What else you got out there, guys? Oh my gosh. Joey Decord. I got to cancel something. Oh, Joey Decord is going to be a net for the Kraken. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I got to do this right now. I was kind of thinking that Seattle might win that game, and not now. Joey Decord is not a good goaltender. I got no way I can take Seattle with Joey Decord. Why is Joey Decord playing? Did they play Did they play yesterday against? Did they play yesterday against New York? That's why. Why didn't I think about that? Shoot. Oh my gosh. I'm scrambling here now. Oh, they did. I should have known that. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Holy crap. Okay. I would have to think that Draisaitl and McDavid are going to have a heyday with that. Yeah, Chris Wyman's really bad. Chris Wyman's not an NHL player for sure. No doubt about that. Okay, guys. That's my full 42, I guess. I got some stuff to do now that I found that out, and I got to get ready and go pick up the little lady and all that stuff. Had a great outing today. Didn't we have a great time today, guys? Wasn't the frolic like at probably about 8.5? 8.5 for all. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a frolic scale every day. That felt like about an 8.5. And I haven't did this in a while, but that's my full 42%. I've been forgetting to say that. I gave you my full 42 today. I've only got 42 to give, but I gave it all to you. All to you. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Okay, bye.